the next speaker, Paweł Dąbrowski from Nahdi. I don't know if you know Nahdi is one of the biggest pharmacies and health institution from Saudi Arabia. Paweł?
It's actually the biggest pharmacy chain in the entire Middle East.
Thank you for the clarification. That's quite amazing. Paweł have more than 12 years of e-commerce. Paweł, please turn on your camera. Currently, he has been the head of Omnichannel at Nahdi Medical Company for the last 3 years. Previously, yes, awesome. Previously, he supported e-commerce operation at Nestlé, for example, and he built an online presence for multiple fashion brands. Paweł will talk about how to elaborate on perfect implementation of omni-channel marketing in e-commerce customer journey for the leading chain of Saudi retail and online pharmacies. Paweł, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. That's true. I will be talking about the user journey and trying to get the perfect user journey. It's never perfect. It's impossible. It's something that that should be our goal, and we should be trying to reach there. But we'll never be able to actually get there. It's just a journey to build the journey. So what I'm gonna talk about is mostly focus on how to prepare to building an omni-channel journey using whatever touch points you have, and what questions to ask to yourself, and how to answer them so that you can build something really useful for you. So I'll be sharing my screen now with the presentation. All right, let me try to. Can you see my green screen?
Yes, confirm.
All right, perfect, guys. So again, I will start from the basics. I hope everybody understands what omnichannel is, but just to be sure that we are on the same page. Well, throughout the years, the idea of having digital channels and digital touch points and managing them evolved from managing the channels separately to having the omni-channel vision, where you have many touch points from the physical brick and mortar stores through the e-commerce website and mobile application, social media, and guest care center, which operates through the phone, but also through the email interactions, and currently any other communicators on the screen, the chatbots, and there are so many different touch points that we're using, and if they are properly connected together and they cooperate and they give the guest a seamless experience throughout them, then we can speak of having omni-channel. So based on that, and understanding the concept is a first step, but the true difficulty comes when you need to think of how to build a user journey throughout touch points so that it makes sense and it gives maximum benefits to our guests, because we refer to our customers as guests, and I will use this particular word since that's the approach of our company. So how to drive and lead the guest throughout the touch points so that they can get maximum benefits and they stay with us and build the loyalty. Currently, it's not like the guest comes to the store and buys something like the medicines and goes out. Currently, the guests use so many different touch points, especially the digital ones, to get as much information as possible to take the final decision whether to buy something or not. And on the case of our pharmacy chain and the clinics that we have now, I'll try to explain how we are building our customer journey, guest journey. That's how we call it. All right, and how you should start at the very beginning, regardless of the business that you have. Right? I mean, I'll try to be generic at the beginning so that this is useful for all of you. Again, regardless of whatever B2C business you have. First, of course, define your guest, and this is not the typical marketing questions that you're asking. So I'm not asking you to say, well, my guest is this 25 to 35 year old woman that lives in a big city and earns this money. No, it's too much. You just need to understand who your guest is, so that you start building it in more generic terms. Otherwise, you get too much into details, you'll never finish your job. I'll explain that later. The next thing is to categorize, right? I mean, your guest might be in different phases. The same guest might have different needs because of different stage and phase of their life, or the needs or the year or whatever this is. And at the end of the day, once you've done the step 1 and 2, you ask yourself the right questions. So we take some example for now, and our guest will be mom. Okay, what we are doing, we are serving moms that are about to have a child or already have it. And then what you do, we categorize our mom by the stages. Okay, to understand this is first trimester, second trimester, third one, and then postpartum, which is the period right after the birth, and then 0-3 years and 0-6 years. That's where the mom is most focused on her child. All right, it can be a different categorization. I'm not saying this is the perfect one, but for the sake of our goals, we did this kind of categorization. And when we know that this is a mom and we have certain stages, and now we need to get to asking ourselves questions: what are we going to do about this? How are we going to build the journey so that we serve the mom the best possible way and the most effective way from all points of view? But to be able to serve our mom, first we need to identify her. So we need to know that this is mom at a certain stage, and we need to know what needs she has. To be able to do that, we can analyze multiple sources, and each business has their specific touch points. In our case, this is purchasing history. Okay, this is the easiest thing to do. How do I identify that this is a mom? Well, I can see that if a woman that we have in our database starts purchasing either the pregnancy tests or folic acid or any other typical for a mom stuff that she hasn't bought before, that's an indicator that she might be our mom, potential guest, right? Either this is browsing behavior, same products, or searching for the products, or maybe going to the clinic or calling the clinic and getting lab results. For example, well, you're pregnant. Then it's not just an indicator; it's a fact that she's already within the range of our guest criteria that we put at the beginning. Okay, the activity, if we have a club for moms and she just signed in to the club, or we identify her during social listening and we can see her activity over there, or through the guest surveys that we send across our guests to understand where they are potentially. Or at the end of the day, we have physical store. We have pharmacies where our guests communicate with the pharmacists and get the information. The pharmacists get information about their guests and can say, oh, well, we have a new mom coming. Same with guest care center. For example, we are calling whenever we have dissatisfied guests, we're trying to get and understand why they're dissatisfied. And then during this kind of engagement, you can get the information that someone is about to get pregnant or is pregnant currently or is a mom. And you can say, well, we have a mom. And there are so many different ways of seeing that we have a mom, but we need to define them to be able to know in the first place that we talk about this particular kind of guest that we would like to build a journey for. And the next step is validation. Because, well, we need to know exactly. It's just one thing is indication. The other thing is validation. So what we need to do is just to make sure that our suspected mom is truly a mom. And again, when it comes to a particular guest survey, it's just an invitation for a mom club that we have in our application, where we ask certain questions. If this is confirmed, then we know that we have a mom that we can build a proper journey for. All right, we have our guest identified, and this is our mom. So what do we do? How do we serve? There are three areas that we differentiated. First one is knowledge. What kind of expertise we can serve? What kind of information we can provide? How do we build our credibility as a pharmacy and clinic business? Okay, so this is where we can add, we call this add beats to their lives, and add something extra to the products that we sell or services that we sell. And that's the first thing that we should start from. So when it comes to this expertise support, we should talk about health monitoring, for example, medications, about nutrition, about lifestyle, depending on the stage, okay? That's a different information that will go through if the mom is first trimester. The other kind of information will go through when mom is right after birth or has like the 5 years old child, okay? We adapt. However, these are the area that we can serve the guest with the proper expert advice and support and guiding through this important time of every woman's life. The next thing is services support. Okay, since we have clinics and we have pharmacies, we can give a lot of good support in terms of services. Of course, the clinic itself, guiding through the entire pregnancy, for example, and the post-pregnancy time with the proper checkups and visits, and even online consultations on the mobile application that we have, or organizing online webinars and offline workshops for the mom just to sign in to come and get the proper information. That's that builds the credibility of the entire business. And at the end of the day, of course, it's all about the sales and products. So with medications, nutraceuticals, the healthy food, right? Or guest specific and stage specific, space specific that we provide. And once we have the guests identified by the stages and we fill in and answer all those questions, we are much closer to building the right journey. The next question that we are asking is, how do I communicate with the guests throughout the journey, right? Which touch points I'll be using, at which moment, how frequently, what will trigger the communication, right? Whether this is a purchase, whether this particular action, maybe the lab results that we're getting from the mom, that will lead us to certain action. Okay, we have email, push, SMS, the trigger on online content. If someone is on the web and we can personalize the content on the mobile application, for example. For the mom, when she, for example, turns into the next stage of her pregnancy journey or post-pregnancy journey, right? Of course, we have social media and again, the physical activity of a doctor, of a pharmacist, or the guest care center agent. Plus, at the end, if someone wants, we can have wearables. We still don't have it, but we plan to use wearables later on with the monitors of the health monitors that will also trigger some kind of actions. And at the end of the day, once we said how we're gonna communicate all these product services and knowledge to our guests, then we ask the question, what do I need actually to get this working properly? What kind of solutions, what kind of tools and devices that we need? What kind of processes we need to establish, right? From solutions tools, just see, for example, there has to be a super application that will be able to use the web view of the e-commerce website at the same time having all the loyalty functions inside, the single sign-on solution that will be able to have one profile of the guest, whether this is the clinic or this is a pharmacy guest, so that we have single view of the guest, all the data warehouse that will be collecting data throughout all the touch points, which is quite a complex thing to do. But once we have it, then we'll be able to properly use and distribute content. And with personalization engine, we'll be able to really automate all the activities. And that's where, for example, Sales Manager is one of the tools that helps in building this journey through the proper algorithm that you will build. You will be able to deliver proper message and proper value to the guest. Okay. At the end of the day, also you need to think of the processes that we will have to establish within your organization, which again, this is cross-function thing to be done across the operations, commercial team, the clinic, IT, and Omnichannel. All these people have to be engaged to properly and truly design, and marketing, of course, design the journey and design the processes that will be supporting the journey. And that's I don't know. I know that this is very, very fast. I'm trying to get through because I got only 20 minutes. But after we answered all those questions, we just need to start. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of answers. Big Excel file. I have no idea how big the Excel file was when we just designed this mom and baby journey some time ago. Reading it takes hours, actually. But this is your base for actually building the workflows, right? And here is a very high-level workflow, but might be used to build any workflow later on, whether this is through Sales Manager or any other personalization tool, or the application itself. Well, this is how it goes, right? We capture a guest through the indication triggers that I just told you about at the beginning. Then you validate the guest. Then you have introduction communication. Okay, we captured the guest, and then we tell them, well, hey, welcome. Welcome to the club, for example. Well, here are the tips and help that you can get from us in your journey, right? And then you get to regular communication, which you also define what you're going to communicate, when you're going to communicate, how frequently you're going to communicate, about the knowledge and expertise that you want to share with the guests, about the services that you're going to propose to the guests, and about the products ultimately that you want your guests to buy from you, but that will serve them in the best possible way, right? And that's from those three kinds of things you offer to the guests. You get feedbacks, and the feedbacks are the next triggers for the next communication. And if you use this very simple model and fill it in with the information that you captured by answering the previous questions, then you will have your journeys. And there is not, again, there is, if you try to build all the possibilities, all the variations of the journeys throughout all the touch points, it will not be possible because the number of combinations is limitless. What you need to do here is to focus on the touch points and the starting points that are most common and most popular in your case. And then with the most common journeys, just go through the questions, answer them, and build the workflows accordingly. And that's, I believe my time is up. If there are any questions, then I'll be happy to answer you. Anything from anyone?
I believe, Paweł, that everything is super clear. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much.